together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Whew, man. Restream's having problems. So all the IOs are having problems. I tried to tell them. They didn't want to listen to me. Yeah. We had Monty, man, this morning did Take 12 radio. It turned out pretty well. I'll be out on my Facebook soon. By this afternoon, usually he gets it done. All right. All right. So we are talking about stuff today. Full-time, there's a GSO recruiting as publishing director for Alcoholics Anonymous World Service, seeking a public director to lead the publishing department of the General Service Office. Full-time position provides strategic and visionary leadership for the production of AA literature and print. Wow, leadership. What? All right. I would just be a Mr. Picky. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Amber. Clara, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it. Yeah. News. Nuss. It's all about the nuss. Right now, I'm also soaking my foot. Because I keep having the wrong place. Yeah. I am soaking my foot currently. So if you hear my phone go beep, 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 it means it's been 15 minutes. So it's going well. My toe doesn't hurt, but my whole leg hurts now. It's cramped up like my lower leg. It's just all cramped up from not really being able to. It's from too much use. Because I've been having to gimp around everywhere. Sorry, I disappeared for a second, but I got to clean the toe. All right, so, but toe feels fine. It's not bleeding as much, so we're getting there. Anyway, all right. I gotta say it. I gotta say something. The Broncos kicked your ass. Hi, I'm Bo Nix. I'm going to wait till the fourth quarter to score anything in any game. All right. That's all right, because I don't think everybody that listens really follows football. Yeah. Well, they probably follow football, but we call it soccer. I have a lot of listeners, and thank you, UK and Australia and all the other places that have listened to me on Podbean. I appreciate it. If you'd like to catch more of what I do, you can find me at www.trudgingtogether.org. You can go to YouTube, put in the Daily Trudge. You can find me there. Starting, I'm hoping everything should almost be done. But if you want to sign up for a 15-minute consultation, see if we're fit, or you can book an hour. I charge $60 per hour. It is a pretty reasonable price, right? Amber says, "Ruck the Giants." I agree. I'm just glad we're first in our division. Yeah, you're like, I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. What time is it? You know what time it is. It is time for Dion's Daily Funnies, we're going to go to, should we go to Reddit? Let's go to Country Living Magazine this time and see what we come up to. Best, you know what? In lieu of the Broncos and from a Demarius Thomas, we're going to do best dad jokes about sports. Some of these I'm probably not going to get. I may not get all of them. Why did the baseball player get fired? He ran 3 bases and walked home. Yeah. Why don't fish play basketball? That's an easy one. They don't have hands. Okay. Or arms. Because they're scared of the net. Oh. Then play defense. Play defense. All right. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one. It's a great reason. One more. What does a sprinter eat before a race? Nothing. They fast. All right. All right. Womp, 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 womp. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Today we're talking about the work between the miracles. I did not come up with this topic. I actually asked ChatGPT to come up with a topic for me today. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. These are the ones that they gave me. They gave me 6 options. Spiritual fatigue, when the soul gets tired. Number 2, expectation versus acceptance. 3, middle of the road. 4, grace for grumpy days. 5, growth isn't always comfortable. And I picked this one, because I've really been talking about the other ones a lot already, right? So we're going to kind of get to this. All right. We love miracles, that rush of peace after serenity, that first belly laugh in sobriety. But what about all the days in between? Now, remember, we're going on a journey. Recovery is like those adventures that you read, like Lord of the Rings, or, stories that you hear about somebody who has to overcome odds in order to maybe save the world. Maybe they're the chosen one or something like that, right? Now, usually this is what happens in those stories. They usually start out traveling alone or maybe with one other person. And usually you will find that by the end, they have accumulated 4 or 5 people along the adventure that want to help them out. It's usually not more than that. The amount of people is usually under 10, right? But what are they looking at here? What are they doing? Well, this is camaraderie, right? These are, for us, these would be the people that help us as we go along in our recovery. And they are needed, right? They're needed. Okay. Frodo Baggins would have never gotten rid of that ring if, number one, if it wasn't for everybody in his company. But if it wasn't for Gollum and his greed, he wouldn't have succeeded. Aha. See, even at the end there, Frodo was about to give in to the ring and go to the dark side. And if it had not been for Gollum, who had a place in all of it, yeah, it wouldn't have followed through. How about Harry Potter? Harry Potter and all of his friends that he needs in order to, and then it turns out that, oh wait, if you haven't seen Harry Potter, I don't want to blow it. So I don't want to be the person that does that, right? Then, Harry Potter found out that he even had more people protecting him than he even knew. Oops, connection lost, reconnecting. God, this is so ridiculous. All this, it keeps going down. Yesterday, it didn't even load my restream after I was done. It didn't give me a copy of my live. So I may not be able to do it again today. If that happens, then I can't make my clips. I can't do certain things. And that affects my numbers. What are you going to do? Should I let it ruin my day? Hell no, right? So your recovery is not a highlight reel, is it? It's a journey of steady work and trust. What would we call that? Amber says, because Frodo is a bitch. You watch that now. Frodo carried that ring around his neck and wasn't tempted for a very long time. So you better watch it. I don't think you could have carried the ring that long. Amber and I are just having fun. Yeah. For hobbits will reshape the world. Right. Amber and I do a lot of LOTR reference. So, all right. But it's the journey, man. It's the journey. And the journey is going to be tough. Right? Sam's the real OG. So there's a song, you may not have known this. The song Ramble On by Led Zeppelin is about Sam Gamgee. It is about his adventure with Frodo. Okay. Now, in the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair, it was the ring. But Gollum and the evil one crept up and slipped away with her. Her. Yeah. Spoken word. All right. So it's the journey that we're on. And the journey's gonna have highs and lows. It's gonna have fun stuff. It's gonna have arduous stuff. Okay. But the one thing that is always with this is fellowship. Even the first book is called Fellowship of the Ring, right? So what happens between these miracles? Well, sometimes meetings are going to get boring. Your prayer is going to feel like really dry and just stale. You may not feel that connection. You may not feel that connection at all times, and that is okay, right? So then we have those quiet victories that no one sees. And then these are the foundations of much bigger moments. I've kind of been going through with putting together a website, putting these things together. This is the adventure of getting this stuff done, right? Because what happens when the adventure is over? Everybody goes their separate ways, and then we lose touch and things like that. But not so in AA. It's a little different in AA and in recovery, right? Now, what's going on at this time? Did God disappear? Did your higher power just disappear? No, no. This makes me think of the poem Footprints in the Sand, right? And the way the poem goes is, Lord, I've always believed in you, and I'm looking at from the footprints in the sand from my life, and I've noticed that when things are going well, there's two footprints in the sand. But when my life is tough, there's only one set of footprints in the sand. Where'd you go, God? Why weren't you there for me when things were tough? And the answer is, my child, I did not leave. Those are the times I carried you. Besides, you don't wear a size 11. I like throwing that in for a little bit of fun. But it's true. If I can rely on my higher power during those hard times, he will carry me through them. And the more that I do that, the more often I do that, if I can do it with everything in my life, the more trust, the more courage, the more other things are going to happen. No, that does not mean that the daily trudge is over. If you heard the dinging, that just means that I need to pull my foot out and put it on a towel to dry. All right. All right. So, you know, that's where our higher power watches and whispers. Keep going, right? Sometimes we get restless and our old brains start to crave constant reward and recognition. I go through that. You bet your ass I do. Yeah, a few weeks ago, and I keep this kind of talk to my wife and people that understand me. Um, Amber says God can fly. That's why there's no footprints. You're just being silly. Now I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was talking to my wife. I think it was last week before. Well, no, it was last week because we had the birthday. I did a lot of shit to get this birthday party together. I mean, a lot. I didn't get any recognition for it, and it kind of. And this isn't a living amends situation anymore. This is a hey, I bent over backwards, make sure everything looked nice for your birthday party, and I didn't really get anything. Now, I can't really expect it either, because everybody else, I was just doing what Dion does, cleaning up and doing this, and I'm not gonna sit there and tell people, hey, I went out of my way or whatever. So yeah, sometimes you'll get to a point where you feel like you're not getting enough recognition, right? And that's a hard part for, you know, but what we are really is restless, right? But real recovery doesn't shout. It's quiet kind of. And what I mean by that is recovery is about action, not words. I've been saying this a lot to people. And that's great, but what are we doing? That's great, but what are we doing? What's the action? I'm glad that you have no hate in your heart, but that's not the question. What are you doing? Are you doing something to do that? To make sure that you don't? Because if you're an alcoholic like me, without action, I'm going to stay there. And I can act my way through that too, right? So it's about the action. What are we putting into it? Right. So if you're feeling stagnant, maybe the repetition's getting to you. You need a little change. Okay. Then go for a different walk or something. But don't mess around with your recovery. Don't start changing up your recovery. Right. God doesn't give fireworks every day, probably because I burned down the house down. That's why they gave it to me. Or that's what Chat GPT says. But this is what I say: God doesn't give me burning bushes. I'm a reactive person, and I'll probably throw water on that. I probably throw water on it. Right. So over time, consistency turns into strength, humility, and trust. There's that trust again. We're gonna need trust. All right, gotta try the foot. A lot of this also has to do with delayed gratification, right? And and really balance. And here we are at balance again. That's why I avoided the other balance one. But all it really gave me was balance topics. They were all kind of based on balance. So maybe that's something that we need to talk about. You know, not every day are you going to be balanced and things like that, but you can certainly do something like start your day over. You can do that. But there's pretty much everything that we do balance, right? Time management, things like that, right? But it can be, and what's really going on here, right? So now we're going to kind of get down to the nitty gritty a little bit more. Okay, we alcoholics like these big emotions. It's what if it's when the emotion isn't too big, it doesn't really do much for us, right? We like drama. I still get caught up in drama. I had a friend send me an email earlier about a town meeting for somebody looking to be the next attorney general. And right now, I'm just out of politics. I'm not doing anything with politics, not till a lot of these shenanigans are over, right? I'm not going to do that. I need my own peace of mind. All right. So some days you'll have it. Nothing's going on. This is a great time for serenity. All right. Learning to sit there and do nothing without anything going on can be very hard for an alcoholic, because we always feel, oh, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing that, you know. Well, can we sit down for a little bit, maybe enjoy the day? All right. For me, I get a little weird when I have big chunks of time that I don't have it filled with. I almost feel a dread that I don't know what to do, and I don't like that. So I'm having to learn how to be okay that nothing is going on right now. Right? I would too if I was a white middle-aged man. Well, there you go. And I am the epitome of that. Except for my craziness, I'm basic. Right? With, without my alcoholism and my other diagnosis, I'm would be called basic. So thank God for those then, right? Thanks, Clara. I mean, Amber. Clara says relaxation is an action. Yeah, no action is an action. Uh, you know, just like when you have no opinion, that's an opinion that you have no opinion, right? So, but yeah, I don't really have much more to say on it, and I'm not feeling fulfilled at the moment. I don't feel like I've done my job here, is what I'm saying. So we're going to go ahead and do today's daily reflection. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Solace for confusion. So we're going to be talking step 2 a little bit here. Obviously, the dilemma of the wander from faith of that is that of profound confusion. He thinks himself lost to end the comfort of any conviction at all. He cannot attain even the small degree the assurance of the believer, the agnostic, or the atheist. He is the bewildered one. I understand this. I didn't go to that quite that extreme. For me, the way I saw it, and I'm talking about when I came back into the program, I had 12 years of sobriety. Now I'm putting on a Band-Aid. I know people like to know that, but that's just good. When I was coming back into the program, my fear was that God didn't want me back. That was my fear. Okay. And clearly I was wrong. Right. But the way I saw it was God gave me a beautiful life. And I did the worst thing possible. I felt like I stabbed God in the back. That's how I felt. It's a great way to put it. Right. So when I came back into the program, there was a part in the big book. It said, He is the Father and we are His children. That helped me out. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm a father, and I certainly would not make huge demands of my children if they asked me for help. And it helped me get there. But what was it really? Well, it's just pride in reverse is what that is for me. So, I was just using pride as, or the reverse of pride, self-pity. Well, it's not for me. I'm glad it's great for those other people, but gee, that's just not for me. Even high definition is not working. I had to change this to standard definition. Man, I told them that. I've been telling them for weeks. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. Hopefully this one records. Well, we're live and stuff, but I don't know if it's going to keep the actual video. We'll see. I hope it does, because there'd be 2 days in a row that I haven't. Anyway, okay. So solace for confusion. Now, part of the problem is we alcoholics make things, usually it's 111, by the way, for anybody that knows that, on 10/20/25. There's got to be something good in all that. 111 on 10/20/25. Got to be something. Right. Michelle says, God doesn't judge. We judge ourselves. And if God isn't judging you, means he's not judging you yet. Right? God doesn't do vengeance. He doesn't do revenge for you. That's not how that works. There are consequences to everybody's actions. That's how that works. All right. So the concept of God was one that I struggled with during my early years of sobriety. The images that came to me conjured from my past were heavy with fear, rejection, and condemnation. You know, God seems to be the biggest thing about whether somebody wants to do something or not. I mean, I've never seen so much love and hate for a word, contemption, and all this other stuff over a word. It's it's kind of sad, you know. I We all go through it. I mean, just last week it occurred to me there were some people in my family, they don't believe in a higher power, and that is it is helping me make sense of things. It is. All right. Then I heard my friend Ed's image of a higher power. As a boy, he had been allowed a litter of puppies, provided that he assumed responsibility for their care. A whole litter of puppies, man, that's a lot for a kid. Even one dog, right? Each morning, we find the unavoidable byproducts of the puppies on the kitchen floor. Despite frustration, Ed said he couldn't get angry because that is the nature of puppies. What are you going to do? Lay down some newspaper, right? Try and keep them in one place, things like that. All right. Ed says he couldn't get angry because that's the nature of puppy. Ed felt that God viewed our defects and shortcomings with a similar understanding and warmth. Yeah, that's just the nature of humans. That's what God said. Yeah. Oh, there go those humans again. Those silly, silly humans. I've often found solace from my personal confusion in Ed's calming concept of God. Right. Amber says, I'm human. I don't know if God judges or not. And that's perfectly valid too. You know, I don't, I'll put it this way. I don't feel like God's judging me. I don't feel that way. I don't. Um, Everything bad and everything good is because of my actions and what I do. Right. Now, this is the important part, right? But we mostly just need to work on not judging other people. And I think we can all agree on that. So, because we have differences of opinion, nothing wrong with that, but we can always find a spot on which we can land and agree, and that's really what we're coming to. Because without us, debating and stuff, it's hard to get to the answer without that. That's why those group consciousness for our groups are so pivotal. They're very important, and we need to argue there. That is the area, that is the arena in which we argue, but we can't take offense to it. You can't take it personally. All right? There are valid reasons, but that's also why we do it together. We've got to do that together. Right? And what are we doing? Well, what is best for the newcomer? Fuck us. What's best for the newcomer? We're doing fine. So what are we going to do for the newcomer that comes in? And that's what I love about grassroots is there's a lot of different opinions, but nobody gets upset. Well, even in most AA groups, that's what it's like. You know, it's like, and that's the other thing. A lot of people say, they have a problem with God. And then the other things, well, they just tell you what to do and you have to do it their way. I'm like, I don't know what meeting you went to. They might have said this, you might have felt that way, but that doesn't mean your feeling is fact in this case. I think you're just sensitive and spiteful. Could that be it? Because millions of alcoholics are not wrong. They're not wrong. Right? And I will say it, I gotta say it. AA is not the only way. It is not. Right? There are plenty of ways. So Amber said, and take this tongue in cheek. She's having fun here. Judging is a fundamental human behavior. It is. You are correct. So maybe God can't judge us because he's not human. I Googled, do all humans judge? Same good shit came up. Yeah, that's the same. Oh, great. Now, since I read that out loud, it started doing it on mine. All right. So, all right. I think this was a good one. Um, let's see. It's Monday. I got time on my hands. I might be back a little bit later. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're having a great Monday. Expect some changes coming up, some visual changes. Oh no, yeah, I've been doing it slowly, so you may not notice how the rhythm of the Daily Trudge is a little different, a little different. And there are some things that I'm staying away from. I'm just staying away from it. Anything that is not my business just doesn't need to be here, right? Because I noticed I was bringing a lot of that in, and I'm like, we need to change that. So you know what I did? Put a little sticker on my computer. It says none of your business, and I see it all the time to remind me that 98% of what I see is really none of my business, and it's helping. It's helping. So while we're doing all of this, and you can send me a message or something, but the ones listening to this, if you could help me out a little bit and let me know if you heard any kind of weird noises going on while I was speaking. Monty said that he could hear. It's my new computer. So I'd like to know if you guys could hear it, especially if you were wearing headphones or something. That's where you would catch it. So, no, Amber, I don't mind that you bring up nonsense. It makes the show a little bit more fun. So don't stop. But I am ending, so it's going to have to stop today. But don't ever stop doing that. Okay. I tell you this, you guys are my friends, and I will never ever expect you to change on my account. I will not do that. Man, we got 6 people here. Does it feel like I'm done? It doesn't feel like I'm done. What is going on? 32 minutes. You didn't hear anything. Well, Amber, you can't hear anything as it is, so we're not relying on your ears. Before I admitted my powerlessness over alcohol and other chemicals, I had as much self-worth as a peeled zero. Here we are talking about judgment. Okay, now I'm doing a day at a time reflection. All right. Well, my friends are here. I want to have fun. I'm having fun. So I came into the program as a nobody who desperately wanted to be a somebody. In retrospect, my self-esteem is shredded, seemingly beyond repair. When we get into the program, we are lonely. And when you feel accepted, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to feel good. And I believe that everybody deserves to be wanted and needed and loved. Now, I'm going to bring a little something up. I'm not mean because it's one of the things I'm trying to. All right. Amber says, my podcast guy was crying last night that it would be lame if he only had 30 people. What? Yeah. All right. My numbers have broke double digits twice, maybe. But that also might change because I'm getting ready to do some stuff. Okay. Now, when a new person comes in, okay, when these new people come in, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to surround these people and bring them into the fold. We cannot wait. Or what happens is some nefarious person will come along, make them feel wanted and needed and loved, and then they will abuse them. So let's bring those newcomers into the fold as fast as we can. That's all I'm going to say on it. Okay. Heather says, and good morning, Heather. Even though I was late, it's great to be with friends. I come for it. for it all. Humor, music, cats. Yeah, the cats ran away because I was mean to them. Right earlier, because when I do Take 12 radio, it's radio and the equipment is different. The sound is, you can hear everything because that stuff transfers. So if you guys didn't hear it, great. It just tells me that I just need to move my computer. That's it. So, all right. Gradually, the program has enabled me to achieve an even stronger sense of self worth. I have come to accept myself, realizing that I'm not so bad as I had always supposed myself to be. Hmm. I went through that too. Because, see, I made shit up. When I told stories, I threw extra stuff in there to make me either look good or that I had to overcome something or something. Okay? But what it wouldn't be was the truth. Right? Am I learning that my self worth is not dependent upon the approval of others, but instead is truly an inside job? Uh, Heather Sir said, and I heard what I needed, a reminder, forgot what it was. That's because now the problem's solved. I don't know. That's kind of funny, but I forgot what it was. It must have been really important then. Right. All right. So self worth is not they worth, we worth, wool worth. Stop reading your mail. It's funny. A lot of people have been saying that to me lately. What it tells me is that I'm doing it the right way. So thank you for saying that, Heather. Yeah, I'm really good at reading mail. I don't mean to. It's a intuition. All right. Enough on that, or my head's going to get too big for the camera and go pop. All right. Claire says, truth, truth. Right. But so my self worth is based on me, which is exactly why I have been creating those boundaries. I've been talking about creating new boundaries. It is for my self worth. Yeah. I'm tired of people telling me what I am that don't know me. I'm tired of it. So I'm going to remove myself from it. I can't stop it. It's like fighting stigma. It ain't gonna work. And now everybody's doing all that too now. Oh, we're fighting stigma. Fuck stigma. The end of stigma. Ain't gonna work. Even you saying fuck stigma is a fight. We call it prevention. And we call it that for a reason. Well, stigma isn't prevention. Bullshit, it's not. Educating people who are naive. Prevention. Today I pray when I'm feeling down and worthless, may my higher power and my friends in the group help me see that although I was fallen, I was not cast down. You, I know you may think that you've done some. There are people in jail right now who went out, drank, and killed somebody, and they're in recovery. They're sober. You can do it. You can do it. What is that to us? A yet. That is a yet. If you have not gotten a DUI, if you've not gotten in trouble in the law, if you have not been in, and these are not requirements to get sober, by the way. We call these the yets. It means it hasn't happened yet. Right? Now I didn't have a DUI. I didn't get a DUI. But if I would have kept drinking, it would be a yet. Eventually I would get caught, right? Yeah. However sick I might have been in my worst days with all the self-esteem of an earthworm. That's not fair. You don't know the self-esteem of an earthworm. See, now I'm doing it, Amber. Since you're not doing it anymore, I'm going to do it. They're just saying low, right? So May I know that I still have the power of choice, and I choose to do something about myself. May that good choice be the basis for my reactivated self-worth. Today I'll remember I will not kick myself when I'm down. Wow, what a great piece of advice. Okay, sorry, alcoholics. What a great suggestion. I gotta go back to it because I remember what it was about, but I don't remember exactly how it was said. I will not kick myself when I am down. Yeah. You gotta be kind. Amber says they're judging his self-esteem. The earthworms, all right. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I hit 41 minutes and I feel like I did my job because people are saying you're reading my mail and stuff. So, I hope you have a fantastic day. And yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. Have a day.